Welcome back to the Senior Year Game Plan. We are a podcast where we are talking to high school seniors about what is to come for college. So this is April now, and the college letters are coming back. It's time to pick which is going to be the right one for you. To this end, I have Amari Biru and Alice Bao that are with me, like always, to break this down from the mindset of a senior in high school and give us some of their thoughts about moving forward, how to pick the right schools. You've gotten not into some, and the world right now is strange. The economy is who knows. There's a lot of anger, animosity, hate. Even universities are feeling the pinch from research funding. And let's face it, the world is treating universities and colleges like they're tobacco products that should be banned. And so it's a really scary place. And we want to break down not just your college decision, but also kind of real life preparation. My name is Michele Ehrlich. I'm an Army vet. I'm a New York City realtor and a multilingual educator. And I'm here to guide through this world of growing up and showing up and leveling up. And together, and why am I qualified to talk about this? I have had to master communication in the most intense places on earth. War room, in the classroom, in the boardroom. I've negotiated through millions of dollars in real estate transactions, and I've also had to go through very intense negotiations and strategizing in the Army. So I really learned how to read people in these kind of high stress, high stakes conversations. I want to thank Amari and Alice for being here because it could be that you have to navigate right now tons of different situations and questions that you have swirling around about where you're going to choose. So let me just get right into it. I'll start with Amari. I'll start with you. Can you tell us a little about where you are in this picking of college time of your life? Also, like where you're from and where you got accepted.
Okay, so right now it's like I have everything back, all my acceptances back. I have like a list I made, but I'm just giving myself like a little moment before I make my decision. I'm not gonna make my decision like around May 1st. I'm gonna make my decision next week, during our spring break. So I'm planning to like do a little fast and praying session just so I can like be like my best self so I can make my decision because it's like a big step for me. So I'm gonna do that next week. But yeah, I'm going to school in New York. I go to Forest Hills High School. I spent 2 years in Forest Hills, so my junior and senior year. Before that, I was in Oklahoma for 2 years. So my freshman and sophomore year, I was in Oklahoma, in Norman, Oklahoma to be exact. I got accepted into a lot of schools. Okay, I got into Howard. I got into St. John's, Binghamton, that's upstate. So there's like a lot of them.
Wow.
Baylor in Texas, University of Oklahoma in Oklahoma, Rutgers in New Jersey.
Wow, a lot. You applied to a lot.
I
Wow.
applied to a lot. I can't remember all of them.
These are really great schools. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, we need to talk about like how do you decide where
hmm
you're going to belong? Even
Yeah,
like we were saying, when the world feels angry and divided or even unsafe. Go ahead, you.
I'm planning to make a list. So I'm gonna make a list of the schools and what I'm looking for in the school basically. So my financial aid ranging, what I look for in a community, how they're doing nationally. So that's the things I'm looking for. I'm gonna make a list and I'm gonna view my pros and cons and then eliminate from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, right. Because it's not just about going to about the classes anymore. It's about knowing how to read the room even before you've gotten in to figure out if it's people that you feel comfortable with and how to trust your gut. And then like it's all about protecting your own peace because really at the end of the day, you have to feel comfortable in this. It's a decision for you and you alone. So I'm going to move to Alice. What about you? I know you're
For me,
from Queens and Forest Hills High School.
Yeah, I've been a student at Forest Hills High School for 4 years. I would say for right now, like my decision is really undecided as well. Cause like what I'm trying to do is, since like the schools that I've gotten in, they like host alumni meet and greets, right? Or like you can meet like those accepted people. I've been like joining their meetings and considering and bonding with the people and seeing like which community I like, and also like considering the financial circumstances and honestly discussing it with my parents because my parents are like immigrants, right? So it's like more difficult for them to understand the whole situation. So I have to like kind of translate and truly understand myself and then translate it to my parents. So it's
Right.
kind of for me right now.
Right. It's like even doubly nerve wracking because you don't have somebody who's gone through it before who can walk you through it if your parents aren't from here. So, a question for both of you. You have both worked really hard to get here and you opened your acceptance letters, but in this moment, how do you feel? Excited? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel disconnected? Amari, I'll start with you again. Probably
Yes,
very proud for one. I'm sure you're proud of yourself too, but maybe a little scared.
I am happy with myself. I'm trying to have this mindset of looking back and saying I could have done better, even though I know it could be a good mindset sometimes, like for the future. But right now, I don't want to tell myself I could have done better or I should have worked harder. Because I mean, I did good, and I think that the support that I had, I did fairly good with all my circumstances, my situations. But I'm not gonna let that mindset like overcome me because I know a lot of kids they're stressing and then they're worried and they don't know what's gonna happen next. I know it's like that for a lot of us, but I'm trying my best to keep everything positive. That's really the goal from now on. Literally just be positive no matter what happens. So I'm not really scared or worried. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Just keeping my mind and my faith together. It's just like an exciting time, and I wanna look back and be like, yeah, I had fun choosing. My friends were happy. My family was happy. I had like a lot of yeah. I don't want to make everything so like tough because I don't think it should be a tough like walk right now.
Right, yeah. I mean, the world is a little angry right now.
Currently, yeah.
And definitely, so you need to keep in mind maybe more than other times when I went to college, I really didn't have to deal with that component, that you have to make sure that you're going somewhere where you're not hiding who you are. So we're going to talk about how to make sure that you guys are not doing that. But Alice, how about you? How are you feeling right now? You said about it's a little bit nerve-wracking because your parents didn't go through it. Maybe you said something about accepted student day, or maybe you're looking online for videos or posts from the different schools that you got accepted to. But I'm sure it's a little bit of a division. It's hard, you're divided. It's hard to tell what's real online and what's, performance, because the college obviously wants to make it look so great and makes you want to go there. So how are you feeling?
Definitely nervous because I don't know what is there to come, right? But I do connect with like friends, like siblings that have gone through the school and they have like talked, been through the school like personally, and also like teachers as well.
Yeah.
And I think like that is like very like more genuine than like the ones that colleges put up rather than because like colleges like they like to advertise. So I think like asking someone personally, right, if it's good or bad, then it's pretty good. And agreeing with Amari, I'm definitely like nervous and trying to keep it positive because like at the end of the day, I think like, oh, in high school I may not have done my best or like maybe I did exactly what I thought I could do. But I think like once it's college, I could do it like a different way and like try to change it up a little. So like it's like a new beginning.
Yeah, yeah, that is exciting. That's for sure. But it also it's about, like we were talking about videos and that it could be like performing. We don't know if that's real, but like you said, reaching out to other students, that's the real deal. That's real conversation because it's not just about academics anymore. It's about emotional safety. You're going to be away from your parents. They're not going to be there for you anymore. And so, about your mental health, like Amari mentioned, it's about your identity. And so when you're a young woman, and let's be real, you two are both women of color in this world, you're not just choosing a major, you're choosing a culture too. Everybody is, not just you, everybody is. So let's talk about the digital side. A lot of the schools they look great on paper. They all do. They send you glossies in the mail. I get them a lot from my daughter. But what we know that campus culture is in the little things like the comments and the group chats and the DMs. So here's my question. So you said you have joined into accepted student groups online. Alice, you mentioned that. Amari, have you done it? And if you have, what are you seeing? Like, what stands out about these conversations or these group chats with accepted students? Maybe there's a Discord chat or for admitted students or something on Instagram.
Yeah, there's this website platform, I think it's called ZMe, I think, something like that. And a whole bunch of current students get on there and they share whatever the topic may be with other prospective students. And I think one of the main things I see is how passionate they are about the community and how supportive the community is towards them. And I think that's amazing for them, but I don't really want to put myself in their shoes because I'm not them, and I think everyone has their place somewhere. So with doing that, it allows me to see how they and their lifestyle fits for that school. So in my mind, I'm putting myself in what I want to find in a school, just like how they did that, and they're satisfied with what they have in the school. So every school, you see the kids talking about how they love the faculty, they love the students, everyone is so this and that, and I want to have that too. So I try to find all of that in all the schools I got accepted into and see where I can have the best time, but also be supported the most because it's gonna be a long journey and it's like one of the most crucial times. And I feel like having a supportive community, supportive teachers too, people who actually care about you. That's what I'm looking for mainly. And a lot of the schools, especially UConn, I see that a lot over there, and that's really been getting to me like in a positive way.
Good. Yeah. So it's like joining these groups, these accepted student groups on Instagram or whatever the one you said. A couple of them have their own thing for different colleges. Like people often are seeming very welcoming, but it's also, you can note that there are red flags sometimes. Like for me, I got accepted into the foreign service to be a diplomat. I mean, it's like one of the I was so excited. It was a really long acceptance and very competitive. And so when I got in, then I was in this group. There was a hiring freeze. There's always a government hiring freeze, but that it was for while we were accepted, everybody was on this waiting list. We're on this group chat, and there were red flags that I saw, like jokes that just felt off, or people being aggressive in debates. And so I just wanted to like bring that to your attention that for every situation, I pulled myself out after a year of waiting, but I was also a year of waiting and listening to this back and forth like group chat, that I didn't feel super comfortable around these people. And I wasn't sure that that was going to be a place where I would feel safe. And so through these kind of accepted student group chats, you can like Group Me is one of them, I think, for some of the colleges. You can feel the energy. You can feel if it feels like a sisterhood. You can feel that if it's just very academic and polished, then you might not feel like you found your tribe. So you really have to pay attention early to these kind of group chats, what the dynamics are. Also looking at if there's some people or some subject that dominates the conversation. If there's somebody brings something up and it gets ignored, who in the group or what kind of information gets uplifted. These are glimpses into what are the power dynamics in real life with these people who you're going to spend several years with. So I want to ask you something a little deeper. So what does it mean right now to feel belonging? You guys have both talked about that you want to feel that you're in a comfortable environment. Do you know what that um, what that means or what it looks like, and how do you know if a college can give you that? I'll go back to Alice because I think I missed you in one of these.
I think personally, when I think of like a safe environment, I think it's like people that could generally open to or like ask advice from. Because like whenever I'm like in these meetings, right, they would talk about like advice that they've of like challenges they've gone through, and I would be like, if I were to go through the same thing, right, I could ask them, refer back, and also I think it's like a very good way to prevent yourself from creating the same mistakes they did, because then you could like have like more way of growth by like preventing yourself from doing the same thing they did. They would stop you from like going into the wrong direction is what I mean. Yeah, rather than diverting your attention and losing your way.
Okay, so people that really that allow you to feel belonging, makes you feel like you don't have to prove yourself. Like if you walk into the classroom, you don't have to think like you're the only Chinese person, so you have to be the Chinese voice, or the only Black person, so the only Black voice. That you walk in, belonging is that you don't have to prove your worth just to be able to speak, that you can just be yourself. Amory, what do you think? Like maybe
Um,
it's a space where you can grow.
yeah, when I think of a safe environment, like I mentioned earlier, it's being supportive to like with each other. I think there's a lot of times and currently too where people don't really like to see others getting ahead of them. And I don't really want that. I feel like you should be happy for your friends, even though they're not your friends. You should be happy for everyone. Like, if I ask for advice, I would expect you to be there for me and give me all that you have rather than withholding something just because you don't want to see me do better than you or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be the only, like, this particular voice. So I want to be surrounded by people who understand me, who get me, who are there for me, not only just to hear what I'm saying, but to also add on to it, to push me in that way, to just like a supportive group.
Okay, that's powerful. So like I want everybody out there to hear this too, that you are allowed to choose the space that sees you. You're allowed to walk away from the ones that only want to label you or compete with you. This is your life. And yeah, 97 knows you. In fact, most people won't, but then there will be those that really get you. So here's a few strategies that we're talking about right now. So joining the online space is male, but are they all white? Are they all this color? For me, that stands out right away because we live in Queens. I'm so used to seeing every single color, so that when I see something like a picture of people that are all one color, like it strikes me as very off. I'm just not used to it. And you guys being from Queens, you might also not be used to that. But reaching out to students, they're more than happy to tell you the real deal. And then you want to ask yourself this question: will you have to shrink yourself to survive in this place? And so if the answer is yes, you're going to want to just keep looking. So then we want to talk about some FAQs, the frequently asked questions. I'm going to ask Amari and Alice because they're real seniors. And so they're navigating right now as we speak, the college decisions and friendships and a lot of big emotions. And so we're going to be reading these and talking through them, hopefully having a guide to how we can move forward with more clarity and confidence. So I'll ask Alice first. What if you got rejected from your dream school? How do you not let it ruin your confidence? And I know we're just spitballing here. I didn't ask you this question before. You don't have a canned answer. But it happens. What if you didn't get accepted to somewhere you really wanted to go? Deep breath, like stay sane, even though it stings.
I definitely would think like, oh, this is like a motivation for me to work even harder, because at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Because like, if I didn't get into the college I did like wanted, I would think like, oh, I could still work towards a career that I wanted. And plus, like, even if the career is like not your selective choice, I think at the end of the day, if you're surrounded by like people you love and you have like a comfortable job, I think that would be like honestly enough for me.
Hmm. Right. Okay. Because rejecting, when a school rejects you, they're not rejecting who you are. They just didn't have the space. They had a lot of applications, not enough money, not enough spots. It's a math game for them. It's not a reflection on you being not good enough. And so, like you were saying, the dream school, it's not a building. It's really a version of you thriving and being happy and feeling seen and growing into the person that you want to become. And so that version of you is still coming. And then if you didn't get into that school, then you just pivot and take another route. So Amari, I'll ask you this. How should I think about college even though I'm still in high school? So your mind is, you're two versions of yourself. You're this almost freshman in college, and then you're this senior in high school. So what are you thinking about college when you've got other things on your mind like high school and today,
Okay,
like prom and finals? See if you have a senior trip left. No, maybe not. But it's all happening right now. So are you thinking of this as kind of like a bridge that you have one foot in like your current world and then one foot is stepping forward?
that's a tough, like, I don't even know how to look at that, but as a senior, it's like you're the head of, no, okay, I don't want to say the head of the school, but you're like the older kids in the school, like the mature kids, but
Hmm.
then you're transitioning to this new school and you're the babies. So it's everything is gonna be new, so you're getting into this environment that you have no idea what's gonna happen. It's so many different kids, thousands and thousands and thousands. Whereas you were in this little school with barely 5,000 kids, I feel like it's not gonna be the same. It's definitely not gonna be the same, especially in classes. You're gonna be in these classes with so many kids. Your professor probably won't even know you, and I feel like right now I'm just gonna embrace who I am rather than try to live my like as a freshman in college because I'm not there yet. I don't wanna rush anything, so I'm just gonna embrace where I am right now and just try to be more mature and just get myself ready. Okay, I have to really think before I make this decision or any decision. I have to think my mom is not always going to be there for me if I go out of state or if I'm not living with her. If I'm staying on campus, I'm going to have to be able to provide for myself, be able to budget this, and make my schedule an actual schedule to the gym and then study. I feel like it's a time for us to grow because that's going to be very important to get us ready for like the big world out there. It's going to be big, it's going to be exciting, but I think it's just like a whole growing moment for us.
So you mentioned a few things like staying present in the moment because you don't want to only just think about the future and then you lose today. But then you want to just plant seeds. Like your future are just seedlings right now. It's not anything full grown plant. You want to start it. You want to start to water the seed, but you don't. It hasn't grown yet, and so you still have to be present where you are. And what you said is important too about scheduling, kind of trying to organize your week, like starting to get more organized, like the way that you have a college schedule. So now you're thinking, okay, I have to start to remind myself to plan and kind of schedule things as if I was in college. So you're kind of start practicing managing your time without reminders so that you can do it without your mom there. And then maybe reading, like you can do that by like reading student blogs or following the accepted student groups on TikTok, like that. So Alice, what about you? Do you think that it's a kind of like you're not leaving high school behind, you're leveling up and you're now preparing for your next chapter, but you're still trying to stay present in your senior year game? Is that how you're feeling?
Yeah, I think definitely like branching off of like what I'm doing like originally, which is like joining clubs and trying to like make as much connections as I can because like I feel like this year, I feel like yes, I've interacted with a lot of people, but I feel like I should definitely interact with more people because in college there's definitely like more people that I could interact with and they're all sorts of like all ages and you guys are still like intersected and interconnected as well.
Right, that's a great point that you want to make the most out of your high school connections, even though you're moving on. So that's very mature, and because you don't want to burn your bridges and just bounce, like, double deuces, I'm out. You want to build a legacy. And so here's a couple, like, maybe tips about how to do it. So think you want to thank your mentors, people, that the coaches, the teachers that have been there for you, and let them know that they helped you. And so that also could turn into a future reference and long-term support. Like you said, if you're in a club or some kind of a leadership role, maybe you can train somebody younger than you to, like, pass the torch, and then they'll definitely remember that. Alice, you mentioned about working with some younger kids on robotics, and that's a way to set yourself into people's memories, that you're not just graduating and then you are never heard from again. And also to reach out to people that you've respected, and even if you weren't close with them, because you never know who you will be around again or collaborate with down the road. And if even, especially if you go to like a SUNY Binghamton, hey, you might just run into some people that you know from your high school. But moving on doesn't mean that you're forgetting. It's forgetting anyone. It means that you're bringing the people with you, but in a kind of a new way. So then I'll ask you, I'm going to ask Amari, how do you start making friends online with future classmates? Because these guys are going to, assuming you're going to make a decision, but right now, even if you haven't made a decision, like, you might be part of a group chat, it might feel awkward because you don't know if you're going to that school. But really, like, it's like a soft kind of social entry. But so are you feeling like awkward about it, or you kind of jumping in to see, like, oh, okay, what's the water like here? Is it nice to swim in? Like, are people friendly? How are you accomplishing that?
So currently, I'm not like intermingling with anyone. I did go to a 5-minute students meet 2 weeks ago, I think, and I did reach out to one of the kids. I never texted her, but I did reach out. I have her Instagram, but currently I don't know. I feel like there are those like group chats I guess I can get myself into with kids, like potential kids that are gonna go there, but I don't wanna go ahead and put myself out there and then never speak to them again. It's not a bad thing to do that. I don't know if I want to, especially because right now I'm so close to making my decision. So I feel like I would do that with kids that I know I'm gonna be with, or I know is gonna be in the same school with me. So there's these pages on Instagram with, for example, Howard University class of 2029. It's like a whole bunch of kids who post themselves and they say, "This is my major, 18 years old, I'm from this and this." Yeah, there's like stuff like that that really allows you to connect, and I think it's such a great idea that people are doing that. It shows that you're willing to socialize and willing to test the water and see if it's good to swim and like
Right, yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, you can join the group chat or the Discord or whatever and just observe it. You don't have to say anything. Maybe just like you can give a like or give a reaction to a few different comments so that people, like, just to let them see your name. Maybe you could drop an intro if you're like sure you're going to go there, but you're not sure yet. But something just like, hey, I'm Amari. I'm from New York City, or I'm from Queens, or I'm from where, Oklahoma. Anyone else looking at psychology or mental health as a major, or whatever it is? Like, you could ask about major kind of thing. I mean, these are not people you're going to be best friends with overnight. You might not even go to that school at the end of the day. But you just want to start to create some kind of familiarity with what to expect from this group of people at this school. So then, well, for one, if you meet in person, do go there, it's not a complete cold start. But that, just like I said, you can pop in and just observe what other people are saying, and if it feels like a comfortable group of people, or the vibe is this or the vibe is that, you can see it in those chats. What about you, Alice? So you mentioned that you had gone into kind of DMs or a Discord chat to observe these different schools?
I
Like, are
haven't
you
really
starting to make friends, or are you just kind of holding back because you still don't know where you're going to go?
I'm kind of holding back, but at the same time, like I think definitely befriending with like one or two is definitely good because at the end of the day, because like some schools require dorming, right? And I was thinking like since like some of my friends are going far away, I was like thinking, oh, maybe I could dorm with the person that I've been interacting with recently. And I have other friends that have also done the same thing, and it worked out pretty efficiently. And like if you didn't really like the person, you could be like, oh, I'll talk with another person to try it out, saying like, oh, do perhaps have a roommate because I'm also looking for a roommate as well, and I think it works out really well.
Yeah, good idea about the roommate. So, right, good points that you have these opportunities to kind of feel out the vibe of the school through these chats. I would do it especially if you're on the fence about where you think you may fit in and just to double check that you do. So, another question. So now everybody's like getting into college. Some people got scholarships, some people didn't. So, how do you talk right now to your friends about college and money without sounding braggy? Like, because both of you guys got into some really good schools, but not everybody did. So, how do you talk about like uh, college and financial aid or scholarships without sounding braggy or without making anybody feel bad? What have you guys experienced in that? I mean, it takes some real kind of emotional intelligence. You want to um, lead with gratitude and be humble and not make it a comparison. So like if you got a $20,000 scholarship, you might say, oh, I'm super grateful. I got some help and it's taking pressure off of my family. And then like it opens up the space for them. Maybe you can ask like, what are you thinking about after graduation, or what's exciting you right now? Because you don't really know what other people's situations are. And your your win with the scholarship or whatever, it doesn't erase their journey, but you don't want to like shrink other people and make them feel comfortable. So if you are kind about it and you're grounded, hopefully your friends will celebrate with you. Honestly, my daughter got a full scholarship. I don't talk about it because I also don't want to diminish other people. I feel like a little bit bad about it, but I need to also remind myself that it's not that her accomplishment is not diminishing other people. That everybody has their own things, and certainly people that are her friends are very proud of her. So it's challenging to know how to talk about it. But like we were talking about, just to be really thankful for whatever money that you got from the state or from the college or whatever, and really not pressing somebody else, how much money did you get or anything like that, because it's complicated and we don't want to brag. We don't Everybody's got their own situations going on, going to college, not going to college, and whatever. So another question, what is one thing that you think that you should do each week between now and graduation to get ready for college? So we talked to kind of about like maybe starting to schedule things or trying to make sure that you know how to do things on your own, like laundry or something. But what are you kind of doing right now to get ready? Is there anything that you're think is like maybe a checklist or some things that you're doing? Like maybe you're going on to your like if you, whatever 4 or 5, 10 colleges, maybe each week you're going and kind of glancing at the group chat, the DMs or the Discord, maybe. Um, Maybe you're like saving some information about each school, like maybe the a video that you liked about it, or the accepted student day page, or some club information. Maybe you guys are trying out some social skills that we talked about, like trying uh, eye contact more, trying to introduce yourself, or trying some small talk, or maybe you're reflecting on how you want to feel when you walk onto campus, and trying to like mentally get yourself strong. So are you guys doing any of those things or anything different from that? We can start with, I don't know, Amari?
Maybe more of the socializing part,
Hmm.
because I have been on a schedule for a very long time. I think I'm pretty good at keeping a schedule because I started when I was in sixth grade, I think, and I used to wake up so early, and I used to enjoy waking up at 4 a.m. sometimes. Now I don't, but I know I'm probably gonna have to get back to doing that. But I enjoy a schedule, so I think I had that set good to a side. But I think the socializing part is a bit iffy and challenging for me. Mainly because I don't wanna say the I have issues with saying the wrong things and just like I don't wanna say the wrong thing. Like what if
We're
I
going to
come
talk
out
through all of that in the next few months. We're going to keep like building those muscles. And so you don't feel like you're saying the wrong thing. We're going to practice a lot. Like every time we get
yeah,
together, we're going to go through these, how to enforce your social skills. Like we said, especially in this strange world of animosity, hate, othering other people. We want to really make sure that we're making the right choice of a college that makes you feel comfortable and at ease. And B, that you feel empowered, that you don't have to make friends with everyone. You feel empowered that you know what to say in any situation. If you're sitting with somebody new in the classroom, or washing your face next to them in the communal bathroom, or in the cafeteria, or accepted students day, we're going to make sure that we cover all of that. But yeah, like making sure that your connections that you have in high school, that now that you are getting towards the end, it's not so stressful for academically, that maybe you can solidify some of your friendships that you have here in high school, make a little bit more time for the people that you have neglected because you've just been so busy with applying to school and all the academic stuff. And like you said, trying to get your schedule, thinking about your schedule, like, okay, am I a morning person? Am I an afternoon person? Am I an evening person? How am I going to deal with the sleeping and the schedule and the studying? Like what? And so just noticing what time of day you're most alert, what time would work for you to study, like to have the best study hours, is a good way to know yourself and your schedule. So thinking about solidifying your connections in high school, thinking about how to best utilize your schedule.
Rather than like focusing on connections, because I feel like I don't really need help with connections because I usually bond really well, but I was more worried about like personal needs, because like I wouldn't know what to do to set up for college dorms and like college in general. Like what do I need, like what books do I need, like, what materials I need, and like do I perhaps need a form of connection with a professor in order to like actually like ask for help like more comfortably. And also I've been like practicing and finding new hobbies as well, so I could share with other people. Like hobbies as in like cooking, because once you're on your own, you don't have your parents to cook for you. And I think that's like in general, like being organized as well. That's like the main focus on like self improvement on my like being independent. Definitely.
Yeah, right. Like what kind of things do you bring to the table, and like making a mental list of that. Also, maybe getting in touch with whatever might be your weak spot. So, for example, like Alice Bao, your last name is Bao. That's not that common for Chinese. And so Chinese, and it even means like a bun, like a bread. And so knowing that, and that some people might be confused by your name, or even say, oh, you're like bread, or like something making fun of, you need to know how to react to that. You need to have a retort for that. So these kind of things, just for example, or if somebody says like, wow, you are from New York, like, oh, we don't like New York City, like a retort for that, like just to have it in your mind of how you can, and we'll go through these because I'm not going to like leave you stranded and hanging. But to think about what could somebody say, and you want to know how to react. Could it be they're making fun of Queens? Could it be they're making fun of your color? Could it be they're making fun of your name? Could it be they're making fun of your sport that you play? A lot of you're anything that you have a retort that you can come back with that is, going to dispel their negativity, whatever that might be, because people are so negative and hostile lately. So we're going to talk about coming into our own and being able to feel comfortable with these things, that nobody's going to be able to, affect you or bring you down. But really, we want to just feel prepared, feel grounded and confident. Really, this is Amari and Alice, thank you so much for telling us and sharing with us this, because it's really what the world needs, to have people like you here talking about being vulnerable and being curious and being wise about your next steps. So, and for every senior that's listening, it's not just about planning your major. You need to plan your mindset, because where you're going it matters, but how you walk in matters maybe even more. And so before we go, I just want to give one message to seniors that are trying to choose the school right now. So I want to ask the two of you also, like, what would you say to people who are like you right now, trying a little bit confused? I liked what Alice said before, like, it's not the end of the world. Like, you don't have to choose the school that impresses everyone else. You need to choose one where you feel safe to be able to be yourself and to grow. Or do you have something to say more about that?
I think definitely asking advice and also searching up for sources like these podcasts, or also like from other speakers who have been through the same thing. I think definitely that is very impactful, because that's how I learn as well, because I learn from friends, family, and teachers as well. I'm learning about like what I should do in the future, and like what, because like currently I'm like confused on what I really want to do, but like hearing from people's perspectives, I'm able to form like a more solid imagination of what I really want to do in the future. I think definitely it's still not the end of the world, and there's still time for growth. And there's always like time for growth. Like even if you're like really old, at the end of the day, like it's your ambition and like how you feel towards like the situation that could like fit the situation.
Yeah, right. Where how you choose has a lot of different factors about it. It doesn't have to be the school that, so that you say, oh, to other people, "Oh, I go here," because it's really just about a place where you feel safe. Doesn't matter if the name of it is, Timbuktu University. But if you feel seen, like Amara, you mentioned about UConn, that you feel like the professors are seeing you, and that's a big deal. Even if it's not the most prestigious school, the prestige, it cannot protect your inner peace, your feeling of being accepted. So the senior year game plan, we're here trying to any senior that's struggling with the college decision. And remember, like we're saying here, the future isn't just about where you go, it's about who you become when you get there. So again, I want to say thank you to both of you. But right now, some good advice we are talking about is to join these DMs for the accepted students, or the Discord or the group, and even just to observe, not to say anything, because you don't know where you're going to go yet, but you want to get the feel of the lay of the land. You want to see, what are other people talking about? Is there somebody that is giving kind of uncomfortable or colorless jokes? Are there people is it a safe environment? So many ways to do that, but like we said, reaching out to students or joining these groups is probably a closer way to know than just going to the glossies because they all look beautiful, or the videos because they're all perfectly curated as well. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the one in this place for 4 years. And it's not just about that your parents can say to their friends, my daughter goes to this school. It's about you feel like the people are like you, that you don't have to become like them, because let's face it, nobody can change and become, or you shouldn't have to fit to other people's perspectives. You want to be in a safe place, because that's where the learning happens. So we're going to continue on with talking about hostile environments, college campuses where people are maybe othering you, or what to do about that. How much time do you guys have? Do you have another 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So in that time, really just try to observe as much as possible, get real information from real students as much as possible, and to try to trust your gut of where you feel like you feel safe, seen, and the ability to connect. Like I said, you look at pictures, and if you see like nobody here looks like me, that could be telltale too. Or look, they look like me. And that's, probably a good sign too. So I'm going to leave you guys there for now. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Amari and Alice. And in the next week, I hope that you're not too stressed about your situation. Try to appreciate what you have, the accomplishments. You got into all of these amazing schools, or maybe some of them you didn't get into, and that's okay too. Do you have any final thoughts for anybody that's out there trying to make a decision? Any final last words?
Maybe just to be present, be in the now, and don't overthink it. I just feel like you should give yourself time to make a decision. If you haven't, if you did, congrats, good for you, and then just keep going, do your thing. I just feel like no matter what you do, even though later on, like maybe in like a few weeks, you look back and you're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna be the right thing for me. I just, like you said, it's not where you go, it's who you become in the process. I just feel like you can do something with wherever you go. So just like keep pushing, and then everywhere has opportunities for everything.
Well, I think it's definitely like it's a journey, not the outcome. Because at the end of the day, it's the people you meet along the way. It's not where you like end up of. Because at the end of the day, like if you have people who support you, you're unstoppable.
Right. Yes. And so if you want to be a doctor, nurse, teacher, lawyer, whatever, there's many schools that will get you there, but there's only a few places where you will feel comfortable, and only you know that. And so really following your gut, observing, listening to others, and just asking yourself all the time, do I feel safe here? Do these people look like me here? Do I think I could be successful here? Do I think I can grow and not shrink here, as in flourish and not be stymied by other people's attitudes? With a lot to think about, I wish you guys all of the best, and we'll be hearing from you next week about if you're any closer to your decision, and we're going to keep on going with our mastering social skills pre-college and talking about all of that. So thank you so much. Thank you.